3.2 Preston FM.
We dare to be different.
So we're talking to Graham Crabb from Pop Will Eat Itself. Now that's a band that many people will remember from the 1980s, but the band's reformed now, hasn't it, Graham?
Yeah, that's right. It's a new lineup. So there's just myself as an original member, but I'm joined with some very good musicians. There's Mary Biker, who people might know from Gay Bikers on Acid and Apollo 440. We've got Jason Bold, who was drummer with Pitch Shifter, also plays with Killing Joke these days. We've got Tim, who plays with Gary Newman's band, amongst others, and a chap called Davey on bass, who plays with a few Birmingham bands. So it's a pretty neat lineup.
Right, so for the benefit of people that maybe haven't come across your music before, how would you best describe what it is that you do?
For me, really, Pop Will Eat Itself walk that line between sort of electronic dance and program music and then sort of rock music and the punkier side. So, yeah, just sort of treading that line down the middle.
Right, and how different is what you're doing now to what the band was doing originally?
Well, we always tried to sort of have a different sound for each album, so we did kind of change anyway. But at various points, I think what we're doing now could sound like something we did in the past. I mean, I don't think it's too dissimilar from the last album, Dos Dados, maybe mixed with one of the albums before, Cure for Sanity. So, you know, the set very much tries to give a sort of unified sound. So we choose tracks from the past which fit in with what we're doing now.
And what was it made you decide to put a new lineup and go out touring and release a new album now? What got you to that point?
I'd been wanting to do it for some years, really. But I think I had to accept that the original lineup was never going to happen. And then 2011 marked 25 years since the first Pop Will Eat Itself release. So really I thought, well, you know, this is the time now or never. It's a good reason to relaunch. And so that was that.
Okay, you'll have been asked this millions of times before, so I'm going to ask it anyway. Where's the name for the band come from originally? It's
from a chap called David Quantick, who is now, he works on a lot of comedy for radio and TV. But back in the day, he used to be an NME journalist, and he was writing about how pop music takes the best pieces from the past, recycles them, and creates something new. And the words "Pop Will Eat Itself" just kind of leapt out at me on the page I was reading. It sounded a really good theory, and I thought, what a great name for a band that would be. So with David's blessing, we used it.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've been playing some tour dates. Presumably, you'll have all the fans from the old days, people you've picked up along the way, and you'll be picking up new fans who are discovering your music for the first time.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's the idea. I mean, like you say, I don't think you can just survive with one sort of set of fans. So what we're doing is trying to appeal to potential newer and younger fans as well. And we shall see, but, you know, so far so good.
Okay, and you've got a brand new album out, as you said, with an unusual title. Tell us a bit about the album, the process, and what sort of material's on there.
The new album is called New Noise Designed by a Sadist. The title reminded me of something like a Buzzcocks album. I don't know whether you know any of the titles of those, like Another Music in a Different Kitchen, A Different Kind of Tension. I suppose it's a bit kind of abstract, but it's one of the lines out of one of the new songs, so it works well as an album title. And the tunes are, some of them were originally written, intended for use as Pop Will Eat Itself tracks, because there were sort of two aborted albums, really, and so, you know, you've got some of the best stuff from those. You've got newer songs, which have probably started in a previous existence as Vile Evils, which is something I did with Adam Mole, formerly of Pop Will Eat Itself. And then you've got sort of newer tracks still, which make up the, complement the album.
Right. Is this an ongoing project? Are you going to carry on working together as a band and work on more music, new albums, more tours, or is it just an experiment, a one-off?
Hopefully, we want to keep going. I mean, we're looking at doing this tour and then possibly getting on festivals next year, going to the US and Australia where the band did well before. So, if we feel that the demand is there, then, it's something that we do want to continue. Mary now lives in Brazil, so we have to fly him over and back every time. So, there are quite a lot of costs in running the band. But the signs at the moment are pretty good.
Right, okay. Well, we've got the first single off the album, which is called Chaos and Mayhem, which we're going to play. Tell us a little bit about the story behind that one.
Chaos and Mayhem, originally the backing track was done by Fuzz Townsend, who was the original Pop Will Eat Itself drummer. Well, I say original, I was the original drummer, he took over from me. And then myself and Adam at Pop Will Eat Itself put vocals on it. And then it was worked on further by the new members, so it's got quite a history, really, and it's probably the most straightforward, sort of rocky, punky track on the album. And I think the record company thought it was very straightforward and would make it a good single, so that's it. Its fate was decided as the first single off the new album.
Right, so there we go. We've heard the story behind the song. Here it is. This is Chaos and Mayhem.